Welcome to Global India, the Cultural Fusion Podcast. We are in the business of building cross-cultural bridges and not walls. And folks, we are not asking Mexico to pay for our bridges either. Hello, I'm your host, Dr. Lily Padman. Welcome to another fascinating episode, the Angkor Wat Connection. I am delighted to introduce to our listeners Renuka Sadashivan, an economist, interior designer, counsellor, and talented singer, all rolled into one. Renuka has traveled all over the world and enjoys exploring different cultures. She will be introducing us to the history behind the Angkor Wat temple in Cambodia. I was overcome with a bizarre sense of déjà vu when I first laid eyes on the Angkor Wat temple. I was overwhelmed by the uncanny resemblance between Angkor Wat and the traditional South Indian temples I grew up with in Kerala and in Karnataka. A tourist from New Zealand asked me if I had hired a guide to explain the intricacies of Angkor Wat, and my response was that I did not need a guide because of my familiarity with South Indian temples, which are amazingly similar in architecture to Angkor Wat. I say this with a sense of pride in my heritage, which is epitomized in Angkor Wat, a beautiful monument proclaimed by the UN as a World Heritage Site. Renuka will further elaborate on the significance of Angkor Wat. Thank you, Renu, for joining us on this podcast and for sharing with us your knowledge of Indian and other cultures. Can you tell us more about Angkor Wat?
Thank you, Lily Chechi, for inviting me to talk about Angkor Wat, an architectural marvel built in the 12th century. This architecture was primarily based on the Dravidian architecture which emerged thousands of years ago in South India. It consists of pyramid-shaped temples with intricate carved stone and a stepped design, with many statues of deities, warriors, kings, and dancers. This type of architecture is actually mentioned as one of the three styles of temple building in the ancient Indian book Vastu Shastra. Cambodia's link to India is further manifest in the name of Angkor Wat, which means city temple. Angkor is the vernacular version of the original word Nokor, derived from the Sanskrit word Nagara, which means city, and Wat is a vernacular version of the Sanskrit word Vata, which means a temple.
How did Indian culture and architecture have such a profound impact on Cambodia?
The answer lies in the cultural and commercial interactions that took place between South India and Cambodia dating back to a few centuries before Christ. During those times, there was a major maritime highway linking India, China, Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka, Africa, and Rome.
Specifically, how did the South Indian temple architecture influence the architecture of Angkor Wat?
There was abundant South Indian influence on Cambodian art and culture during the rule of the Pallavas, 3rd to 8th century AD, and the Cholas, 9th to 13th century AD in South India. The rulers of Cambodia during this time had a suffix of Varman to their names, in a way similar to the Pallava kings of Kanchipuram. While the Cholas of Tanjavur eventually defeated the Pallava Varmans in the 8th century, the Khmer kingdom in Cambodia flourished well into the 14th century. Artisans from the Chola kingdom helped construct Angkor Wat. It should probably come as no surprise that the chief priest appointed by Suryavarman II, the builder of Angkor Wat, was an Indian scholar, Damodar Pandita, who provided the guidelines for building the temple.
Thank you, Renu, for that brilliant historical perspective. I wish history would be taught in schools in a manner that is as exciting as the way you have presented it. Indian history, as it is taught in schools and colleges, sadly does not even mention Angkor Wat and other Indian architectural contributions. On the other hand, history books are replete with accounts of the continual invasion of India by invaders across the northwest border. Frankly, I was not a big fan of history during my school days, primarily because of the dates of numerous wars I had to remember while cramming for history tests. Can you tell us about your visit to Angkor Wat and your reaction?
Hauntingly beautiful is what comes to my mind first. Best described as a Khmer architectural masterpiece that remains a thriving religious center to this day. It was late afternoon when we reached Angkor Wat. We had to cross the bridge across the 200-meter wide moat leading to the main Angkor Wat temple. The temple layout is in the form of a lotus bud with layered pyramidal structure representing Mount Meru, the abode of the gods. This is the world's largest religious structure, an architectural representation of the universe. The main temple has 3 levels, each enclosing a square surrounded by linked galleries. As evening approached, sunlight inched across the gallery's courtyard to probe the dim ambience of the covered walkways. Here I was captivated by the bas-reliefs of the Apsara dancers and the pillars enlivened with Sanskrit inscriptions that took on such a rosy hue.
Thank you, Renu, for your beautiful description of Angkor Wat and how this ancient monument resonated with you. Beyond being an architectural marvel, Angkor Wat reflects other art forms through dancing apsaras depicted throughout the temple. Can you elaborate on this further and give us a glimpse into how temples in general have fostered art forms like music and dance?
When viewed in totality, temples in India can rightly be considered the cradle of Indian art forms, and they stand testimony to our great cultural heritage. Indian art in the form of dance, music and theatre have evolved through centuries, complementing each other. The key principle of eternal creativity in these temples was the Adbhuta Rasa, meaning the essence of wonder. Music is woven into the fabric of Indian society, and melodic singing in temples during festivities brings inner peace and tranquility. It is said that Muthuswami Dikshidhar composed the song Akshaya Singha Vibho in Shankarabharanam Raga and went to the temple at Kivalur to sing it before the deity. The priest refused to open the door, but when he sang the kirtana, the door opened on its own. Ancient Indian musicologists conceived sound or nada as goddess Saraswati, symbolizing her as the dynamic form of eternal sound.
Of course, temples have had an important role to play in the evolution of classical Indian music. Perhaps Bollywood has also been instrumental in promoting Indian music, albeit in a more indirect manner. Can you tell us about the connection between classical music and Bollywood music?
Indian classical music has 2 major traditions: North Indian classical music called Hindustani and our South Indian music called Carnatic music, the foundational elements being raga and thala. This form of music has evolved as a highly structured and disciplined with rules. Popular music synonymous with Bollywood music and folk music did not have such rules and constraints. Ragas and many other forms of Indian classical music like Tagore's songs strongly influenced Bollywood music.
Thank you, Renu, for pointing out the link between temples, music, and Bollywood. It is now time for an actual demo. Can you sing a couple of Bollywood songs after explaining their derivation from classical ragas?
Rag Yaman is a very versatile classical rag from the Hindustani branch that is used in semi-classical bhajans, ghazals, and in many Bollywood songs. Likewise, in South Indian movies, rag Kapi and Hindolam from the Carnatic tradition are popularly used.
कुछ ना कहो, कुछ भी ना कहो, कुछ ना कहो, कुछ भी ना कहो। क्या कहना है, क्या सुनना है, मुझको पता है, तुमको पता है। समय का ये पल थम सा गया है, और इस पल में बस एक मैं हूँ, बस एक तुम हो। कुछ ना कहो, कुछ भी ना कहो। ये हो कहीं इनका साया मेरे दिल से जाता नहीं, इनको सिवा अब तो कुछ भी नजर मुझको आता नहीं। ये हो कहीं इनका साया मेरे दिल से जाता नहीं, इनको सिवा अब तो कुछ भी नजर मुझको आता नहीं। ये उठे सुबह चले, ये झुके शाम ढले, मेरा जीना मेरा मरना इन्हीं पलकों के तले। तेरी आँखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या है। ये उठे सुबह चले, ये झुके शाम ढले, मेरा जीना मेरा मरना इन्हीं पलकों के तले। एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर, दिल चाहता है वो कहने दो मुझे, तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो। एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर, दिल चाहता है वो कहने दो मुझे, तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो। एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर। बजती है शहनाइयाँ सी राहों में। सिमट रही है तो शर्मा के अपनी बाहों में। कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि ये बदन मेरी अमानत है। ये होठ और ये बाहें मेरी अमानत है। कभी कभी मेरे दिल में।
Thank you, Renu, for your beautiful rendition of Bollywood music and for a truly stimulating session.
Thank you, Lily Chechi, for the opportunity to participate in this Global India podcast.
We conclude this episode with a joke. An American Christian and a Cambodian Buddhist died and tried to enter heaven, but an immigration officer at the gate of heaven stopped them and told them, "You need to take an entrance exam before you can enter heaven. First, tell me why you deserve to be in heaven." The American responded, "I will admit that I have committed sins. However, I have been very diligent in confessing my sins, so I deserve to be in heaven." The Cambodian responded, "I have been a good Buddhist and I have followed Buddha's 5 precepts all my life, so I deserve to be in heaven." Next, the officer asked them, "Do you believe in a supreme being? And if so, can you name this supreme being?" The American responded, "Yes, God." The Cambodian responded, "Yes, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva." The next question was, "Can you spell the name of your supreme being?" The American passed the test easily. The Cambodian failed the test, but was exonerated after explaining that the complicated word Avalokiteshvara comes from Hinduism and that it just means God, adding with a sense of relief, "Thank God, I know how to spell God." This is a free podcast. However, if you enjoy the podcast to the point where it puts you in a generous mood, you can unleash your generosity by donating to the Lions Club of Bangalore Whitefield. Please check out their website. Please write checks payable to Whitefield Lions Club Services Trust out of your Indian bank accounts and send them to Global India 7612 Fenwick Cove Lane, Orlando, Florida 32819. For more details, please visit our website www.globalindiapodcast.com. Please email your feedback and ideas for future episodes to globalindiapodcast@gmail.com. We would love to showcase your talents and accomplishments as well. All you have to do is to email us a note along with your biodata and a recording of your music. Alvida, adios, au revoir, and goodbye for now.